This video will show you how to work faster in Excel without, and I repeat, without compromising accuracy. They say more haste, less pace, but not for you and not today if you follow these 5 tips that I'm going to share with you, especially number 5. I love number 5. Right, so this is our data set of my dream shop in New York. It's a coffee shop and our transaction lists are here, all 20 of them. And this is our to-do list on this side. So these are the 5 tips I'm going to share with you to speed up your analysis so you can work faster without compromising your accuracy. And the reason why you're not compromising your accuracy is because you're not taking away from the analysis itself. You're just reducing the amount of steps for you to get to the tools that will enable you to do your analysis or your whatever task you're working on. So the first tip I'm going to share with you is how to freeze panes quickly, reducing the amount of clicks. Then I'm going to show you how to fix text to columns. So this is where numbers are saved as text, meaning that you can't format them or work with them the way you would normally do as a number. So how do you fix that? I'm going to show you the control shortcuts. They're 5 very useful ones that I use on a regular basis. The paste special tool, very powerful, and I'll show you how to bring that up very quickly so you can do what you need to do without spending too much time clicking around. And the quick access toolbar, which brings everything together. And the quick access toolbar is this little bit at the top here. So you can see I've got all sorts up there, but I want to show you how you can format it to suit what you do on a daily basis, because it's probably going to be different to what I do. And this is what we're working to really. So the boss, or imaginary boss, has asked us, he wants to know how much income per transaction, so per line, how much money did we make? And then he wants us to send him an image of our final result so he can use it in his report. Okay? Right, let's get to it. So we're going to work on step 1, how to freeze panes for easy viewing of data. Now, for those of you who live in Excel, you know that, actually, before we even get into that, do you see how this data is a bit bunched up? So here, there's dates in there, but you can't really tell because the columns are too small. Over here, the numbers are spilling out, so you don't really know what sits in what column. There's a quick way to do that. You could spend your time going like this, and then like this, and then like, oh, not like that, and then like this. But what I like to do, quick tip, highlight the columns you want to work with, double click at the end there when that line with the 2 arrows on either side comes out, and Excel does the work for you. It just aligns each column to make sure the data in there fits. This is why you should watch my videos in order, because I just throw out gems on a regular basis. So first gem bonus tip for you, highlight, double click, and Excel just auto fits the data for you. Right, oh, talking about auto fitting, my to-do list has disappeared. Let's bring it back. There it is. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is to show you how to get to freeze panes for easy viewing, because there's only 20 transactions here, but the moment this transaction list increases and goes past 30, you start to think, oh, so this column here, what's this number for up here? But the column names are right at the top and we want to freeze those. So as we scroll down, we still know what the data in each column relates to. So the traditional way to do that is you click where you want the freeze to happen, and then you go to view, and then you go to freeze panes, and then you have options of, this is a custom freeze, so you can freeze whichever place you want, or you can freeze the top row, which is the columns at the top which you want, or you can freeze the first column. We want to freeze the top row, so we click that, and your data is frozen. But to save you going click, 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 there's a quicker way of doing it. So I'm going to show you by keyboard, and what you'd need to click is Alt W F, and notice it takes you back to exactly where you were, but F gives you this option at the top. I call it custom freeze on freeze, and you press enter, and when you've got a freeze pane on and you do that, it unfreezes wherever you are, and then you can then use Alt W F again, and it brings back the option. Press enter, and it's frozen. Same thing. That's it. So the beauty is, if you are over here for whatever reason, it saves you having to click, 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 or wherever you are in Excel, you just freeze and unfreeze. Now, for example, if I really wanted to keep the columns of the first 3 columns showing as well as the top columns, the first 3 columns showing as well as the top rows, I will do that. and look at that, frozen, depending on where I want to. And then on freeze quick, go back to where I went, freeze, you see what I mean? Seconds. So you can move faster in your data without having to pause, click, 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 and continue analysis. No time taken away from working on your detail, but it does save you with steps. So we pick number one, freeze panes for easy viewing. And now the second one is text to column on data. So something that's very important with data when you're working in it is to make sure each data is saved in its right in the right state. So for example, Excel is very helpful because it highlights for us data that's in the wrong format, especially numbers. So here, this green cell, you see it's got the green, this cell has got that green little highlight in the corner, and if you hover over the triangle, it tells us that the number in this cell is formatted as text or preceded by an apostrophe. So it says it's a number and it's a text, but it saves as a text. This is a problem because it's going to cause an issue when we want to format information. So for example, this is a unit price. So unit price means it's a currency. It's money, basically. So for the sake of our viewers, of our stakeholders, our end users, I can't find my words. Let's change this into a currency, into the pound. I know it's in New York. We're going to use pounds because, yeah, we're going to use pounds. And we'll say, okay, let's highlight this and turn them into pounds. So let's go here and go to currency. Can you see it just stays as a 3 because this is a text. As far as Excel's concerned, the word 3 cannot be a pound. It's a word. So we need to get rid of this option, turn this back into a number so that we can use it appropriately. Now, the traditional way of doing that, really, you have to click into the formula bar, press enter. Oh, is that right? Oh, this has got apostrophe. So you have to go in there, remove the apostrophe, and then it becomes a number. And then once you do that, you can format it. But are we really going to go in there? So this one, you want to click into formula bar. Okay, now it becomes a number. Then you go in there. And are we going to do that for all 20 lines? No, we're not, because we have better things to do with our time. We have analysis to do. We've got a task to get out. So this is where text to column becomes amazing. You highlight all the data that's affected by this text, that's saved as a text that should be a number. You go to data and you go to text to columns and you just click finish, and voila, Excel comes through for you. It's converted all the text to numbers into the column. So then we are able to go to our home and then format it as a currency. Perfect. So that saved you lots of time there. Text to column, done. Now the next one is our control plus, I call them. So there are some very useful shortcuts that you can do in Excel that will just helps you to move much quicker. So I'll show you in this particular one. So the boss has asked us to work out income per transaction. So I'm going to put add a column called income, keeping it lowercase so it's in line with the rest of the column headers. And we know income is basically the price of something multiplied by how many of the items you've sold. So there we go. It's 2. There's £6, right? So I've worked out how to do that. I've worked out my income for one transaction. Now there's 19 to go. So there's several ways I can fill in the rest of the data instead of having to manually type in the formula again a second time of that. This next transaction is £3.10 multiplied by 2 again, that's £6.20. So the first one I'm going to show you is basically Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. So Ctrl-C, you go and click is basic control copy. So you go to the cell you want to copy, you press Ctrl-C, and then you highlight where you want the data to be pasted to, and you press Ctrl-V. Ta-da! And what it's done in this particular case is pasted in the formula, the same formula all the way down. And then if you click in the formula bar, you can see that it's the same formula replicated all the way down. I'm just taking samples to show you. Yes? So that's one way of doing it. Now there's also another useful one, Control Z. I love this one. I want it on a t-shirt. Control Z is undo basically. So if you've copied something somewhere or done something, anything, you think, don't really fancy that. Instead of going back and deleting like this, you just Control Z. And it undoes what you've done. And you can press that as many times as you want. But then you think, oh no, I've gone too far and I want it back. Control Y. And it brings back what you just deleted. Right? So let's go through that again. We have Control C. You copy. Highlight where you want to paste. Control V. Paste. If you change your mind, you think, nope, don't want it there. Control Z. But if you think, actually, yeah, I do want it there. Control Y. Ta-da. Yep. So you can see you sped up what you're doing without taking away from the accuracy of what you were doing. Now, I'm a sucker for consistency, okay? So in this table here, we've been asked to work out income. Oh, first let's tick. We've done the controls. Right, consistency. So we have a unit price, which is in currency, along here, and we have income, which is also would be a currency, which is here. So ideally, what we should do is make these two columns consistent. So the eye looks at this and says, aha, money, money. We know where we stand. Does that make sense? So there's several ways we can do this. So you could, to make this consistent, to highlight this and go to this column, go to home, go to home, formatting, and then click currency, and then voila, it looks just like this column here. That's one way of doing it. But imagine if you were somewhere else, for example, because you're doing other stuff, you'd have to go back, click, click, click. But another way you can format this without having to move from where you are is, I'm going to do Control Z, look, coming in handy as well already. You'd highlight what you want, the formatting that you want. So in this particular case, I want to make this column similar as this column here. I want these two to be alike. So I'd copy this formatting, I'd copy this cell here, I'd highlight where I want the formatting to apply, and then I will use the paste special tool by shortcut. And paste special is Alt ES. Okay, Alt ES. And it brings up this box here of paste special. Now the paste special is powerful. You can do all sorts of different things in here, and I can put up a video where we can go into these in detail. But in this particular one, I just want to show you how you can paste special the formatting. So Alt A, the formatting is this format. So you can either press the letter A or click format, and it will bring, and you press OK, and voila, it's formatted the entire thing. So can you see? That's toolbar. So as I said before, this quick access toolbar can be formatted to suit how you work. And you can see for me at the top, because I use my text to column quite a bit. Can you see mine? Because I use text to table quite a lot, I've saved that up there. Because I use number formatting quite a bit, I saved it up there, and a few other ones that are very useful to me. But the way you'd format your quick access toolbar is all of you would have this drop down option at the bottom. So you'd go to there, go to more commands, and there we have it. That's how it looks. So on the right is where you would be adding the shortcuts that you want to be using on a regular basis, and on the left is where these shortcuts, or is basically a selection of all the shortcuts that Excel has, and it's split by popular commands, which literally, as the name suggests, it's what people use the most. And then you can see that it's got further drop down in here of tabs. Now these tabs here, like the home tab, insert, drawer, they align to the tabs over here at the top: home, insert, page, layout. So they're all here. So if you know the commands and the functions that you use quite a bit and where they sit, you can go in there and find them. So for example, let's find that text table. Can't believe we're calling it text to table, so that we know that sits in the data tab. So we're going to data, and then it's all by alphabetical order. So we go down to T, and There it is. Click on it and then you press add, and then it would appear here. And you can go and find the ones that suit you the most. So if I would recommend, for example, I've got my filters in there, so I'd always recommend adding filters, because I imagine if you're in Excel a lot, you're using a lot of tables, so you can add that there, add those there. I always recommend using save as, because then you can ensure you're keeping you got version control in place in case you lose an older version, unless you're obviously using OneDrive, in which case Excel will save you and give you version control anyway. So feel free to play around and have a look in there and see what's useful to you, and just add them. You click on one and then you press add, and it would appear on this side. And then depending on how your brain works, because again my brain's very logical, it follows a certain order, you can arrange them depending on how you want them to look. So I've got mine ordered that all my filters and sorting are in one place, my evaluation formula is in one, and then my data and formatting follows after that point. And I've got an obsession with if I'm formatting right at the end, I don't like grid lines to show if I'm doing a beautiful dashboard, so it's just there for me to quickly move in and out. So that's how mine's formatted out. You format it as you wish, and if you need support in any way, feel free to drop me a message or comment in the video, and then I can send you some more instructions, or create another video on how to do this in more detail. Okay, so I'm going to press cancel mine because it's already set up very nicely and I don't want to wreck it. There we go. So that's a quick access toolbar, bringing everything together. Now I've got a copy of this table over here, so you can see how quickly you can work once you use these shortcuts. So I'm going to replicate what we did over here in this tab, and then you can see how long it takes for me to send out this work for the boss. So let's go. Right, so I'm going to make sure the columns fit together nicely. I'm going to do Freeze Pane. I'm going to see, I put mine at top, quick access bar, text column, change that to a number, finish, and then I've got my, there it is, currency. I want that into decimal places, that's right, this there. So then I'm going to put income here. I'm going to do this multiplied by this. Perfect. Oh, very good. So if I'm going to take this, bring it here, T, I've formatted it, and then I want to take this, done. Literally, it took me a minute. It was 6:28, it's not 6:29. It took me a minute to do that. And because I'm nice to you guys, a special format. Have you ever noticed that when you paste this in, if you paste data into Excel, it just becomes ugly, doesn't it? Ugly, ugly, ugly. So I'm just going to put this, make this in bold at the top. Control B, by the way, I've just done that. Control B makes it bold. Another bonus tip, guys. And then I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste special as image. Where's my image? Paste special image. Where's my image? Down here as a picture. And then that way, when I paste it into Excel, it's not going to look weird. When I paste into an email, it's not going to look weird and lose its formatting. It still looks good. There we go. Job done. Took me 2 minutes. But of course, I'm sure if your boss wanted, he'd want a total. Let's just do a quick total, because that's the right thing to do, isn't it? There we go, £97. And we're done. That's it, guys. That's it. 5 tips. So the 5 tips were, let's start number 1, freeze panes. Alt-W-F. Alt-W-F. And then our text to column or text to table, it just helps us to convert numbers from text to numbers so we can format them accordingly. Then we've got our controls, we've got control copy, control V. Oh, that's a control undo, because we definitely don't want that. And then Y if you really do want that, but we don't, so control Z. And then we've got a paste special tool, Alt-ES, and then you can do so many things in there. Like I said, if you want to know more details about paste special and how to use it, please drop me a comment and we can do another video on that. and then a quick access toolbar at the top that just brings everything together. And the way you add it in is by going to more commands and literally moving things from the left to the right by using add, and it's formatted similar to these tabs at the top. So if you know where things are roughly, they're by alphabetical order. Feel free to have a browse and make and personalize Excel to you and your day job. That's it. So thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate taking the time. You're taking the time, and happy learning with your Excel. And if you've got any comments, anything that you want me to elaborate on, please let me know in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe so you can get updates when there's more content coming. And I promise you that there's lots more because there's so much to share in Excel.